hungry, trust me, there's a mission out there for you. Like if you're feeling lonely, trust me, you could find another group and make them stronger.
Yeah.
And because you have like every single veteran I've ever met has that, like, obviously if you made it that far in your military career, you have that mindset to create another group to become stronger. Yeah. Something that you identify yourself. Maybe, you want to help out, like, a bunch of these single mothers or a lot, like I know a lot of women veterans, they're very strong women and they want to help out a lot of these battered women, and they're like, how do we make you stronger? Maybe your niche is making people physically stronger. Like, like I know guys from kinesiology and stuff like that. I know, or maybe to create a mental, there's always something to become like, so the moment you feel like you have no mission, you have to find and look at your own identities and be like, oh, what are the issues within my own identity? Yeah. Like, do you fall into the LGBT? Or like we even have veterans that got deported. There's also that. There's also, there's a plethora of like issues of identities that need our leadership skills to create that. And I think that's something that everyone forgets, that we're coming from like a lot of leadership skills. We have a lot of those leadership skills that everyone forgets to talk about. You know, you've been trained to, and even if you're just a follower, guess what? Maybe you want to follow a really strong leader. Guess what? They're not gonna be able to make it on their own without someone to support them as well. Mm-hmm. You don't always have to be the forefront of it, but if you're able to help them out, and maybe you know how to do like accounting very well, or if you're good with numbers, or maybe you're good at like writing, or maybe you're someone that speaks up, and that's what they need. They need someone to speak up for their cause. Yeah. There's always something there.
Yeah. 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 There's always, you can find your niche in a boat, right? Mm-hmm. And like you said, you spend 4 years in, and even if you were a paper pusher that whole time, you've learned some type of leadership trait. You're probably in charge of field day or something at some point, So, yeah, there's a lot that individuals getting out can give back into some aspect of some place in the world. Yeah, I agree with that. I brought you on because I felt you had a story that was interesting and that was usable. It was something that is relatable and that people would enjoy listening to and can pull just knowledge from, right? You were the perfect candidate for this position. So I always wrap up asking, do you have somebody in mind who could be sitting in that chair that has something to give back to the vets that are listening to this? Because I'm going to call them out and I'm going to invite them on.
Well, I know a lot of vets and I think this is why it's very unique that you say that, because I can't just think of one. I could think of several, but it's because each vet, like I told you in the beginning, each vet has his own story. Yeah.
And you do know a lot of people, so maybe that's the wrong question to ask you. Why don't you just write me a list out and tell them, hey, this guy's going to call you and invite you onto this podcast.
well, I think, because even then, though, like we could, I think, I don't know if he's listening or not, but like Manny's a good example to use because
Manny will get on here. Yeah. I will force him to get on here at some point.
I think he has a plethora of knowledge, and his way of seeing things is very unique. Yeah. He had a very unique story.
And I'm going to break him apart. I'm going to open up his dark side.
Good luck. But I think it's because with especially like also like Chris Lee,
kinesiology Chris.
Yeah, Chris Lee. Yeah, he has a very unique story as well. And
I'm going to get Chris on because I know his story. Mm-hmm. And that's an interesting story too.
It is, and even like some of our guys from the American Legion right now, a lot of their leadership is now younger now. Mm-hmm. It's no longer the crusty old 60, no, not even like 80, 70-year-old like commanders. Now they're becoming younger.
Oh, I'll have Michael on here at some point.
Yeah, and even Fernando as well. So they all bring in a very unique like aspect, and
that's Vice Commander Michael.
Yes, First vice.
First vice. No, yeah, you're right.
And even I don't know if you've had Drew on here, but
no, we're still in scheduling
because his story is even unique as well because he comes practically from the same area we came in. Like he came in from LACC, and so did I, and we met down there as well. And his finding of who he is was different than my route, even though we went to the same schools.
Yeah.
We went to LACC, we went to CSUN together.
Yeah.
But we didn't take the same path.
Yeah. But you're still essentially doing the same. You're both advocating.
Correct.
In different avenues.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's so. I mean, the list could carry on forever. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And wrong question to ask you.
But yeah, I mean, everyone has its story, and I think the biggest problem is that we're so accustomed to being in servitude as to the country that we never want to tell people our stories because we feel like we're still the protectors of this country, and I think that's something that we really need to take in is like not only are we the physical protectors of this country, but we should also be the mental, the emotional, because we have those leadership skills. We're willing to step up, and we're willing to put ourselves in such crazy situations that some people will call extraordinary, and we call it just another day.
Well, Jimmy, this conversation has been everything that I thought it was going to be. It was phenomenal. It was fun.
It was fun.
There was emotion. I mean, there was realness, and I think people got to know you a little bit better than they would ever get to just kind of walking in and seeing this big old grump sitting there. But I'm honored to have you.
No, it was a pleasure. It was definitely an honor to be here.
Yeah,
I know. Like I said, I even don't like telling my own story.
Yeah.
But I know I'm working on that.
Yeah. Well, it's a good story because there's a lot of stress intertwined of that mindset of I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And, I know it's hard to get it all out into one little conversation, but your transition from military to this lifestyle, this outside lifestyle, or the adaption, or I don't want to get beat up, but you had a lot of struggle, and we didn't really tap into, but you hit it on the head of what it takes to persevere and be on top. So again, much appreciated. And for anybody who's kept through, this is a two-parter.
I'm bad.
No, not your bad at all.
Talk too much.
Believe me, the ones that are two-parters are the most interesting. So, for those who stuck with this conversation, we sincerely appreciate you sticking along for the full ride. And I'm looking forward to having this spread out for people to get to know my brother Jimmy over here. You're the Vet is on iTunes now. You're the Vet is across the board with other podcast hosts. So look for You're the Vet, spread You're the Vet, and show my buddy some love. If you have, do you have any contact information?
I think the closest thing I have is just my Facebook and my Instagram.
So if they have any questions, can they get at you on Facebook?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
I'm usually pretty open to just let me know who you are, because then I'll be like, who are you?
Hi, Jimmy. I heard you on the radio. Yeah. If you want to reach out to Jimmy, I'll have his contact information in the show notes. But thank you so much for tuning in to You're the Vet for one more week, and I hope that you pulled something from this conversation, and I hope that it helps you. And if it doesn't help you, I hope that you know somebody it will. So keep pushing the message out there, keep tuning back in, and keep waking up in the morning to do something good. So with that being said, we're out.
Peace.